Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Манай нэвтрүүлгүүд олон хэлээр гардаг. Зочлох хаяг suprememastertv.com/schedule.
He spent 3 years crafting the tale of the Martian, which began as a software engineer's experimental thought and became the Casey and Andy webcomic. Adventures on Mars, The Martian by Andy Weir. Continue watching to find out more.
I do give all credits to veganism for being the man I am now in all directions. Culinarily, mentally, physically, spiritually. Alex Lengal, vegan.
Tony Tukahe, that's how are you in the Lakota language spoken by the Sioux Nation. Lovely viewers, I am Janet. The affectionate people of the Sioux Nation, thank you for your eco-conscious endeavors. What a pleasure it is to have you with us on today's program featuring an adventure on our fascinating neighboring planet, Mars, in The Martian, written by acclaimed American novelist Andy Weir. The planet Mars is known as the Red Planet and is the closest to our home, planet Earth. Sometimes it can even be seen by the naked eye. Author Andy Weir grew up with a deep love of science fiction, enjoying books such as the Caves of Steel series by Isaac Asimov and also The Red Planet by Robert A. Heinlein. He spent his childhood in Milpitas, California. His father was a particle physicist and his mother an electrical engineer. At the age of 15, Andy began working for Sandia National Laboratories as a computer programmer. He spent 3 years crafting the tale of The Martian, which began as a software engineer's experimental thought and became the Casey and Andy webcomic. The story is based on the concept of humans stranded on Mars. Andy said,
I was sitting around thinking about how to do a human mission to Mars. Not for a story, but just for the heck of it. I started thinking about how I would do it and all the things that could go wrong. And I realized it would make a great story. So I made up a protagonist and subjected him to all of it.
He studied orbital mechanics, astronomy, and the history of human spaceflight. Working out his own calculations and mapping, Andy originally posted these for free on his own Weir's blog. Around every 6 to 8 weeks, he would post a new chapter, which attracted a core of about 3,000 loyal fans. Readers responded to each chapter with a variety of comments, and some emailed him with their thoughts and opinions, becoming his 3,000 daily fact-checkers. The story is set in the year 2035. Astronaut Mark Watney is exploring Mars with his team, having landed on the Martian planet Acidalia Planitia. A month-long stay is planned until a severe dust storm takes a sudden turn and almost topples their Mars Ascent Vehicle, or MAV. As the crew is evacuating, Mark is hit by a piece of hurling debris and thrown into darkness away from the others. Unable to find him nor get in touch with him, the crew assume that Mark didn't make it, and Commander Lewis reluctantly decides to take off for their orbiting vessel, the Hermes. It turns out that Mark has survived, although with injuries. When Mark manages to get back to the HAB, the crew's surface habitat, he treats himself first. Realizing the crew must have left and aware he can no longer contact NASA, Mark doesn't waste any time, starting to prepare for life on Mars all by himself. He knows that the next manned mission to Mars, Eris 4, will be in 4 years. Survival depends on his own resourcefulness. He begins recording his experiences. His philosophy is to work the problem, solving each challenge in turn as it confronts him. His current food storage will only last for a year, so the most immediate concern is the need for enough food to sustain him for at least 3 years, which is a challenge even to a botanist like himself. With limited supplies, Mark Watney must use science extensively and vigorously. One of the most notable aspects of the plot in the story is the technical details. The novel dives deeply into the minutiae of the chemical reactions that turn rocket-fueled hydrazine into water. Mark creates an amazing potato garden inside the HAB with Martian soil and bio-waste as fertilizer. Next, he begins to modify the rover so that he can reach the landing site of the next mission that is 3,200 kilometers or 2,000 miles away. As he solves problems one after another, Mark knows all efforts will be in vain if he can't get in touch with NASA.
Vegan, life is not long, but our legend lives on.
Wise viewers, let's take a moment to gaze up at the marvelous planet Mars in wonderment. We'll be right back here on Supreme Master Television. Welcome back to Adventures on Mars, The Martian by Andy Weir, as Mark Watney uses his ingenuity to survive being stranded on Mars. Back at NASA, while reviewing satellite images of the landing site, satellite planner Mindy Park notices moved equipment suggesting activity on Mars and eventually discovers Mark Watney is alive. The team must find a way to save Mark. However, a rescue mission to Mars is considered extremely risky, expensive, and time-consuming. Meanwhile, Mark had noticed cracks in the canvas of the HAB's airlocks. It was not designed for incessant and long-term usage. He repairs the HAB, but minus 62.2 degrees Celsius temperatures on Mars destroy his plants, putting him at risk of being without food once again. Intent on making the best of what he has, Mark says,
I guess you could call it a failure, but I prefer the term learning experience.
NASA hastily prepares an uncrewed probe to deliver food to Mark. But the rocket explodes shortly after the liftoff. Any rescue plan feels like mission impossible. Mark attempts to communicate with NASA through emails. He explores what needs to be done to intercept with the Hermes transport capsule on its new course. While facing crises and challenges that have never been dealt with before, Mark, as well as the other people working on the rescue, are never short of humor. Mark cheekily says,
I started the day with some nothing tea. Nothing tea is easy to make. First get some hot water, then add nothing.
Full of twists and turns, this fascinating and inspiring novel not only shows us the main character's creativity and courage to conquer incredible hardships and loneliness, but it also tells a tale about the humanity, friendship, devotion, and cooperation across nations.
But really, they did it because every human being has a basic instinct to help each other out. It may not seem that way sometimes, but it's true. The Martian.
In 2014, The Martian was re-released by Crown Publishing Group, and an audiobook edition narrated by R.C. Bray won an Audie Award in the science fiction category. In 2016, Andy Weir won the John W. Campbell Award for Best New Writer. The Martian has been translated to over 45 languages and was nominated as one of America's best-loved novels by PBS's The Great American Read. In 2015, a film adaptation of the novel was released. Directed by the acclaimed Sir Ridley Scott, the movie has a star-studded cast, with Shining World Compassion Award laureate Matt Damon as Mark Watney. This spectacular film has won many accolades, including the Golden Globe Awards for Best Motion Picture and Best Actor. It was also nominated for 7 Oscars. Indeed, the subject of our neighboring planet is fascinating and can also offer some insight into our own planet. In 2009, our most beloved Supreme Master Qinghai shared some precious insights on the inhabitants of Mars and their sad history.
And the Martians currently living underground, are they aware of what had happened in their planet history?
They have been told. They pass on the knowledge of what happened of their planet to their children and grandchildren. Even though it's 40 million years ago, they retain the history of what happened so that the descendants know how to take care of what they have and not to be careless and not to be so destructive anymore, but more virtue and, spiritual. They must live like that. Okay?
Yes, and Master, during the destruction of the planet, how did they die?
Oh, terrible. Let me check. The mass extinction came, they die, not only human beings and there, but the animal people. Also, they die by 2 main poisonous gases, namely hydrogen sulfide and nitrous oxide, plus methane as the 3rd cause. But hydrogen sulfide and methane from the livestock began to warm the climate and then trigger more other gases from the ocean, from permafrost and glaciers around the planet, just like what is happening to our planet right now. So they know what's happening to our planet, almost like what happened to them. And of course they cannot help, they know they cannot help, but of course they have a message. There were 2 messages. The first one is from the Council of the People, and there are only 2 words from them. Be virtuous. And the second message is from the Chairman of the People. He said, save your home before it's too late.
Hats off to Andy Weir for bringing delightful entertainment to so many through The Martian. As we continue to wonder and learn more about our neighboring planet Mars, may we also be inspired to contemplate on how we live our lives on Earth.
Vegan, not owing any blood debt.
Noble viewers, thank you for your wonderful company. Coming up next is Less Salt for Longer Life right after noteworthy news here on Supreme Master Television. May our world be blessed with harmony and love.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/UL.